UFC Fight Night Vegas 16, Hermansson vs Vettori is not the most stacked card in the world. However, there are a bunch of undefeated and talented prospects on the card, and that's the point of this video. I'm going to tell you guys the fighters to watch out for at UFC Vegas 16, starting off with the most important one to look out for, in my opinion, on the main card. Ilia Topuria is on the main card of this fight. I've been looking forward to seeing him come back ever since he did beat Youssef Zalal in October. I'm also so glad for a young guy that he's not just going to rest on his laurels. He's got to the UFC, he's beaten Youssef Zalal on short notice, which I did not expect whatsoever, and now he's turning right back around to get another win in before the end of the year, because he did not fight at all in 2020 because of the whole situation. Not many regional shows were on, which is why I actually picked Youssef Zalal to beat him on short notice. I actually said in that video, which I'll mention yet again for the 100th time this week, that I predicted that if Ilia Topuria had a full training camp, he'd probably beat Youssef Zalal, but I went with Zalal anyway. Topuria had been inactive, but now he's trying to ramp that activity level up massively, taking on Damon Jackson, who is a dangerous, dangerous fight for him. I know he's a big favourite here, but Damon Jackson should not be that much disrespected, in my opinion. It's really kind of ridiculous, the odds, but still, Ilia Topuria, I do believe, is going to win this fight. But Damon Jackson is a dangerous man, 32 years of age, great resume, great experience as well at 18-3. I mean, he's got a solid record with great wins over Jeremy Spoon, 21-3, Nate Jenneman, 12-3, then he lost to Kabuelev, who's 13-0, beat another few guys, beat Masad Bektik in his UFC debut on short notice. Of course, we can't forget about that one, even though, here's what I do want to say that are the differences here. Both of these guys came in and beat good opponents in their UFC debuts. Masad Bektik's maybe on a little bit of the decline. I'd say Youssef Zalal is on the rise right now, but either way, I'd say Masad Bektik is a bit of a better win to have for Damon Jackson. But Ilia Topuria was in full control of Youssef Zalal for almost the entire contest, and Masad Bektik was really dominating Damon Jackson for the majority of the time until Damon Jackson pulled off the submission there at the end. I mean, it wasn't dominant because Masad Bektik wasn't beating him up or anything like that, but Masad Bektik was winning the fight quite comfortably, in my opinion. Damon Jackson was just failing submission attempts over and over and over again. Eventually, he got the one off in the third round. I just don't see him doing that against Ilia Topuria, especially because I didn't see Ilia Topuria go out there and immediately finish Youssef Zalal. I watched him transfer between submissions and roll around on the ground with Youssef Zalal in a very educated fashion. Even escaped some submissions of his some submission attempts of Youssef Zalal in that fight. I think that'll mean that he'll get the job done. He seems very patient under pressure in those grappling exchanges. I don't see him getting caught by Damon Jackson. I think he goes out there and gets the job done in the first or second round by finish, but still, maybe a decision, because Damon Jackson is a tough dude and he's pretty hard to put away. I just feel as though Ilia Topuria is going to get it done. I mean, if he did that to Youssef Zalal on short notice, I can only wonder what he's going to do on full camp. I mean, he's going to be 10-0 if he gets past Damon Jackson here, and we'll have another new name to the featherweight division. If he does win this one, I know what he's trying to do here. He's trying to get one more win in before his birthday, which is in January. If he does win this one, he's only 23 years of age. He's got a long time left. I don't want him to go down the entire Youssef Zalal pathway, which is, if you don't remember, Youssef Zalal so active, which is very good, but it didn't seem like he was adding anything new to his game because of how active he was being, especially being a young guy with Youssef Zalal. I like Ilia Topuria. I just think if he wins this one, maybe come back in the middle of next year, give yourself some time to improve and evolve your game, enjoy your birthday in January, and then come back in July or June or something along those lines against a decent competition opponent. Who knows who it's going to be, but Ilia Topuria, if he gets this big win on the main card, and especially if he gets to finish, there are big things waiting for him in that featherweight division. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, because he's beat great guys, 8-1, 7-1, 6-1, now 10-2 Youssef Zalal. It's a pretty good resume of opponents, even though the other ones have been making their debut. You know, there's a few good names mixed in there. He's taken his jumps up in competition, and it's not like with other guys, what I notice is when they're on their rise, especially if they're undefeated, they'll take on a level of opponent and they'll start finishing easier opponents that are making their debut. And then whenever they take the jump up against good recorded opponents, they go to a decision, or they go to a majority decision, or they go to a third round finish rather than a first round finish. So you can see that they're struggling up competition levels. The only fight he's ever had on short notice was Yusuf Zalal. The only fight he's ever had go to a decision was Yusuf Zalal. I think that's sort of the correlation there, because other than that, I mean, if he had a full camp, who knows what kind of squeeze he would have in the positions that he had Zalal in those submission. Those were really tight submission attempts, and if he had a full camp, maybe he's just that 10% stronger and he can get that finish over Zalal. Really looking forward to see what he can do, but he's kept consistent in beating guys the same kind of way. Like, he finishes all these debut guys in the first round, but then the 8-1 guy, he also finishes in the first round. Then the 7-1 guy, he also finishes in the first round. I like him very much. I think he'll get the job done against Damon Jackson, but Damon Jackson's another guy to watch out for. But Topuria, I believe, is going to take that one, get the job done, representing Georgia and Spain. Georgian fighters taking over right now. Moving on. Not the state of Georgia, of course, the country. The state of Georgia. What does the state of Georgia do? I have no fucking idea. But still, moving on to another guy on the card. Damon Jackson is not the guy. Moving on to another guy on the card. An undefeated guy from the Contender Series. The Monkey King himself. Self-proclaimed. I'm not calling him that. It's Jordan Leavitt. He's a good fighter. He's very good. I liked him on the Contender Series. I love his grappling game. It's very educated. He's had an amateur career as well, so he's not just 7-0 coming into this bout with Matt Wyman, who I believe is definitely on the downturn of his career because he has not looked good in any of his recent performances. And not only has he not looked good, he just hasn't really looked in shape. Like, there's a difference with not looking good because you get clipped on the chin, or not looking good because the guy you're facing just caught you in a submission position, and then just showing up in bad shape and not looking like you're in your athletic prime anymore. And as you go down the divisions, your age is a very big factor. I know Glover Teixeira can make a second run at light heavyweight, but down in the weight classes, you've got to have your reaction time, you've got to have your speed. I don't think that he's going to get the job done here, Matt Wyman. I just don't see it happening. Handsome Matt Wyman is not going to be too handsome after this one, or at least he might be, to be honest with you, because Jordan Leavitt doesn't really put a beating on anyone. He takes him down by submission, but still, looking forward to Jordan Leavitt. Took a big step up in competition on the Contender Series and passed it with flying colours, getting himself the first round submission. It was actually easier than his performance before against Bevon Lewis's brother, Leavon Lewis. He got the job done in the second round, which I really like. He took a jump up in competition and it got easier for him. That's always a really good sign. I think he's definitely going to pass against Matt Wyman. I said that he wouldn't get a finish, and I'm worried here, because I think he won't get a finish. I think he'll take Matt Wyman to a decision, purely because Joe Selecki had Matt Wyman in all kinds of danger in that fight, and he couldn't get a finish over him, because Matt Wyman, although being an older guy on his way out of the sport, is still a veteran of the game, and they're so difficult to get the finish against. And if Joe Selecki, who's a great guy, who just beat Austin Hubbard as well in that division, can't get the submission over you in a 3-round fight, I don't see Jordan Leavitt getting it done this early in his career. But he has an amateur experience as well, so overall he might be like 10-0, I guess, or 11-0. He's got 4 amateur fights, beaten some decent guys, 4-1, 2-0. Among amateurs, if you're 4-1, you might be fighting for a world championship as an amateur, but still, that's how slim the amateur competition is in MMA. But still, looking forward to this one. I can't wait for it. Jordan Leavitt, really good ground game. I think he takes down Matt Wyman, and just, I think it's going to be really boring, I'll be honest with you guys. Maybe don't watch out for this one. Maybe take a piss break, but he's probably going to take him down and lay on him and really control him, and probably not do too much, in all honesty, other than some total strikes. But I think we're going to see a Da Un Young, or a Yun Yong Park, sorry, versus, what's his name? John Phillips kind of situation here, where he's just taking down Matt Wyman. Wyman's giving up no positions, but Leavitt's just going to stay busy with some total strikes. Unanimous decision, Leavitt. Looking forward to seeing him as well. Another undefeated fighter on the card. And again, another undefeated fighter on the card. Also fighting out of Georgia, I believe. No, Ukraine. No, Georgia. No, Ukraine. No, Georgia, but it says Ukraine. He trains in Ukraine, but he was born in Georgia. Another Georgian fighter on the card, and also undefeated, 7-0. Roman Dolidze takes on John Allen. I really like Roman Dolidze. I did not pick him to win against Kadis Ibragimov. I thought Ibragimov was a good underdog, and I thought, you know what, it was actually going a bit of a competitive fight while it lasted, but Roman Dolidze ends up catching him with an Aljamain Sterling / Marlon Moraes type KO loss, where you just walk into the knee rather than the kick. A little bit fluky, but at the same time, He threw the kick so it would land, and it landed, so good for Roman Dolidze. He got the job done, beating good competition as well. He actually took a step down in competition against Kadis Ibragimov in his UFC debut, which I think is really weird nowadays. I don't think you should be taking steps down in competition to get into the UFC in comparison to your regionals. Like, why are these regional guys that have better records than our UFC guys not signed by the UFC? But a women's flyweight goes 3-0 and she's in. It's weird, man. It's a very weird situation right now, but still, Roman Dolidze beat good guys, 13-3, Pasternak, Eder de Souza, 15-4 with an impressive win, finished every single one of his fights, and not just by KOs either, which is a good sign to see because he's mixed up a couple of heel hooks in there as well in the first round against his first two opponents. Now it seems like he's really settled on the feet. He has a rear naked choke finish, punches in the first round, punches in the second round, spinning back fist in the third round, knee to a ground and pound in the first round, rear naked, heel hook, heel kick. He's got a mix of finishes, which I like to see in the light heavyweight division. A guy with a little bit more variety than usual. And John Allen is a dangerous guy. Big guy as well. Very big guy. And he's going to be a bit bigger than Roman Dolidze here as well. Just not quite the same level as Roman Dolidze in my opinion. I think he's going to get out-strengthed. And I think he's going to get beaten up on the feet. Maybe shoot for a sloppy takedown. And then get ground and pounded out by Roman Dolidze. Really looking forward to this one. But John Allen is dangerous. I've just seen him lose to Vinicius Moiheya. And once you lose to Vinicius Moiheya, listen, I know he's lost to other guys in his career like Florindo, who is 4-1, Frajalka, who is 15-4, or 14-5, and Rodrigo Jesus, who is 6-4. I understand. Not too bad to lose to those guys, but Vinicius Moiheya, it was very obvious once he got to the UFC that, okay, you've got lucky here by getting to the UFC. Because you lost to every single person after that, Vinicius Moiheya. And none of them were good performances either. Like, even in his losses, it's not like he was looking really good and then he just got beaten. You know what I mean? He just genuinely got beaten up really badly. And Paul Craig was beating him up. Like, Paul Craig shouldn't be beating you up. Paul Craig's good at submissions and that, but Craig was cracking him on the... It's just interesting, you know? So I'm definitely going to be going with Roman Dolidze here against John Allen. John Allen just hasn't showed me enough to say that he's going to beat this undefeated wrecking machine of Roman Dolidze. I'm on board. I think this undefeated fighter will stay undefeated. But I think it's going to be a gamble tonight, because although I'm telling you all these guys to watch out for, one of their O's is going to go. And that's going to happen tonight. Or this weekend, sorry. So I'm really worrying which one it's going to be. I'd rather it be, in all honesty, Jordan Leavitt or Roman Dolidze, because I really like Ilia Topuria right now. But one of these O's is going to go. Knowing these cards recently, especially last weekend's card that we just had, Underdog Central, maybe that'll mean that all of the favourites win this card, but I don't know. Maybe now I've said that, I've cursed it. Who knows what's going on up there, but, you know, I'm really looking forward to the card. A lot of undefeated records on the line, including... not undefeated, but kind of is anyway. Taila Santos, dangerous Brazilian girl, 27 years of age, trains out of Astra Fight Team. Very good team to train at as well. Of course, these other guys train at good gyms as well. I mean, I don't remember what gyms they train at. Jordan Leavitt trains at a good gym with Roxanne Modafferi, I believe. And some other woman fighter trains there. Joanne Calderwood, I want to say, trains there as well. But now you've got this guy, Taila Santos, who's actually a female, not a guy. So I don't know what I'm doing right now. But she trains at Astra Fight Team. If you don't know, that was the Brazilian team that Darren Till trained at earlier in his career not too long ago. I remember he did a bunch of tutorial videos back then in Portuguese while he was in Brazil at Astra Fight Team. If you haven't seen him, look him up. Darren Till teaching you how to throw body kicks along those lines. He did a lot of tutorial videos back then. Looking forward to this one, though. Taila Santos just beat Molly McCann. I picked Molly McCann to beat her. That means that she's good in my books. Montana De La Rosa is actually a decent underdog here as well, as much as Damon Jackson is to Ilia Topuria. Even though I don't think she gets it done, she's older in the game, in terms of we've seen her around the top level losing and winning more often. But she's also still 25. So she is going to be improving some aspects in her game. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Montana De La Rosa wears the trousers in her family, because Mark De La Rosa ain't bringing home no money. Montana De La Rosa is. I'm looking forward to this one. Just feel as though the 16-1 Taila Santos will get it done, especially because, as I said at the start of introducing her, she's kind of undefeated anyway because she beat Mara Romero Borella. Like, she had 2 submission attempts. She outlanded Mara Romero Borella in the second and third round, easily in the third round. In the second round, she outlanded her 9-6 on strikes. I think I have the stats right here, actually. Yes, I do. Mara Romero Borella beat her in the first round, got a bunch of top control, top position, controlled the entire first round, got a 10-9 there. Second round came around. Taila Santos, 9-6 on strikes, submission attempt. Third round gets a takedown, submission attempt, strikes. I just don't see how they gave it to Mara Romero Borella. However, Mara Romero Borella, I guess, let me just check her picture real quick. Is she fuckable? That's why they gave it to her. There we go. Taila Santos, though, dangerous. Looking forward to seeing her take on a stiffer bit of competition because you look at this record. I know women's MMA on the regionals is not the best right now at women's flyweight, and I will give her some leeway here because it is the women's flyweight division and there ain't a lot of talent going around right now. Okay, look at the talent we have in the UFC. That should be a sign about how much talent there is going around outside of the UFC. But still, she beat a bunch of them. They were all cans. She beat them really easily, though, and got some good resume and experience. Got a lot of finishes, a bunch of KOs, a bunch of submissions. So I guess this will be good for marketing her in the future, showing that she has a bunch of finishes on her record. Then she took a step up against Almeida, went 7-1, who was 7-1 and beat her by unanimous decision. Mara Romero Borella beat her, in my opinion. Then Molly McCann beat her. So although she's crushed a bunch of cans, it feels like we've got a bit of the Giga Chikadze effect here. Another Georgian, by the way. They really are taking over right now. Respect to him. But still, she's given herself a bit of a Giga Chikadze effect here, where although they were taking on cans, now you've got to kind of admit that they've taken the steps up and they're kind of beating some good competition opponents, including Molly McCann, which was a great performance. She dominated her start to finish pretty much. I mean, there was no chance of Molly McCann winning that fight, and Molly McCann has some decently good wins in the UFC, so that's a really good win to have. I'm definitely going to go with Taila Santos here, though. Practically undefeated. Should be 17-0. If she wins this one, she'll be 18-0. Listen, that's a good record. We don't see these kinds of records too often in women's MMA. I mean, the last time I saw a 16-1 girl on the rise, new to the UFC and only had a couple of wins, I believe it was Weili Zhang back in the day. So a long time since we've had a record looking like this, even if they are all against cans. I think Taila Santos will get the job done against Montana De La Rosa. Dangerous fight, but I think she grinds her out and just beats her in every department over the 3 rounds, earning a unanimous decision win, 30-27. Pay attention to all of those guys, and female as well at the end. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. See you later. This card's actually pretty good compared to last week's one, so looking forward to it. Goodbye. And also, watch out for fucking Night the Train! I need to stop doing that because I have parents and they're going to think I'm autistic. But, Nate the Train's also on the card, so even though I don't think he's going to beat, Evloev, who also could be on this list, but I've done a specific prediction for Evloev versus Landwehr, which is on my channel right now if I've uploaded these in the correct order. But still, watch out for Nate the Train, okay? Because he's going to lose, but I just want people to watch him because I can just sense there's going to be fun stuff happening. He's like a Sean Strickland of the featherweight division. Like, yeah, is he going to be champion? I don't know. But he's still fun in every way. So look forward to seeing him. Goodbye. Toodle pip. Click that button up there. See you later.